Check your bank account right now. Look at the numbers. Then take a look around your living room, your driveway, and your closet. If you are like millions of hardworking, exhausted people across the world, you are trapped in a quiet, suffocating paradox. You earn a decent living. You work 50 hours a week. And yet, at the end of the month, your money vanishes like water poured into hot sand. You are running as fast as you can on a financial treadmill, completely out of breath, only to realize you haven't moved an inch forward. We are taught to believe that the problem is always our income. We tell ourselves, if I just get that promotion, if I just make another $20,000 a year, everything will finally change. But it almost never does. Because wealth in the modern world has very little to do with how much money passes through your hands. It has everything to do with what you choose to keep, and more importantly, what you choose to own. There is a quiet, ruthless game being played in our economy. On one side, there is a multi-billion-dollar marketing machine designed specifically to strip ordinary people of their hard-earned cash by selling them the illusion of success. On the other side, there are the truly wealthy, the people who understand the hidden mechanics of money. Ignore the shiny distractions and focus relentlessly on buying real, unshakable freedom. If you want to break out of the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle and build a foundation that actually lasts, you have to stop feeding the machine. You have to recognize the financial landmines disguised as badges of honor. Let's strip away the polished corporate lies and examine the specific traps that keep ordinary people broke, and why the genuinely wealthy treat them like biological hazards. Look out your window at the traffic crawling down the highway. Nearly every third car you see is a brand new, metallic painted, 60,000 rolling piece of debt. The average person gets locked into a 6-year, high-interest loan just to drive a shiny machine that costs more than their annual take-home pay. They stare at the dealer's desk, hyper-focus on the affordable $650 monthly payment, sign their name on the dotted line, and feel a surge of pride as they drive off the lot. Here is the devastating math of that decision: the exact second those rear tires touch the public street, the car loses 20% of its value. It is a rapidly disintegrating liability. Over the next 5 years, that car will swallow tens of thousands of dollars in interest, insurance, registration, and depreciation. Meanwhile, the truly wealthy look at a vehicle through a brutally pragmatic lens. It is a metal box on rubber wheels designed to transport a human being from point A to point B without breaking down. They don't buy brand new luxury cars on credit to impress strangers at a red light. They buy clean, reliable, slightly used vehicles with cash. Or they lease them through a business structure where the tax code works in their favor. Think about what that $650 monthly car payment actually represents. If an ordinary person took that exact same $650 and funneled it into a basic index fund every month for 10 years, compounding quietly at historical market averages, it would transform into well over $100,000 in cash reserves. The average person buys a temporary illusion of status that ends up in a junkyard. The wealthy person avoids the monthly payment and buys a decade of financial security. The second trap is perhaps the most insidious, because it is sold under the heartwarming guise of family happiness. It is the timeshare or the exclusive vacation club membership. The pitch is always slick: a high-pressure presentation in a tropical resort, a free glass of champagne, and a charismatic salesperson insisting that you are investing in your family's future vacations. They convince middle-class families that paying tens of thousands of dollars upfront plus escalating annual maintenance fees is somehow smarter than simply booking a hotel room. It is a financial prison sentence. Timeshares are virtually impossible to resell. Secondary marketplaces are littered with desperate owners begging to give their timeshares away for literally $1 just to escape the mandatory Lifetime annual maintenance fees that climb higher every single year regardless of whether inflation rises or the resort rots. The wealthy never tie up their capital in locked-in, low-liquidity vacation contracts. When rich people want to take their families to the beach, they open an app, book a luxury hotel or a private rental property, pay for the exact days they use, and walk away with zero ongoing liabilities. They keep their capital liquid, flexible, and working in productive assets, rather than paying an annual subscription for a room they might not even visit. Speaking of invisible financial drains, consider the silent predator lurking inside millions of wallets right now: revolving credit card debt. The average household carries a credit card balance from month to month, treating high-interest credit lines like an extension of their income. They buy dinner, groceries, clothes, and electronics, and then pay the minimum balance when the statement arrives. They convince themselves they are managing, but in reality, they are paying steep rent on purchases they made months or years ago. Credit card companies charge annual interest rates ranging from 20% to 30%. In the world of finance, an asset that returns 20% guaranteed every year is considered a legendary miracle. When you carry a credit card balance, you are giving that legendary miracle directly to a commercial bank while starving your own household. You are working 50 hours a week in the heat, only to hand a third of your effort over to a bank chief executive's bonus fund. The wealthy view interest through a crystal clear rule: interest is something you collect, never something you pay. Rich people use credit cards constantly, but they use them purely as a transaction tool for security, convenience, and points. They pay the balance down to zero every single month without exception. They turn the credit card system into a minor utility that serves them, while the middle class gets crushed under its gears. Walk through any high-end shopping mall on a Saturday afternoon. Look at the long lines outside designer clothing boutiques. Who is standing in those lines? It is almost never the self-made millionaires or the silent asset owners. It is ordinary people spending half a paycheck on a cotton t-shirt with a massive corporate logo slapped across the chest. There is a tragic psychological driver behind this. When people feel financially insecure, they often use visible, branded luxury goods as psychological armor. They wear the logo to broadcast to the world, "Look at me, I am doing well, I am successful." It is a complete mirage. The designer fashion industry is fundamentally built on selling high markup items to lower and middle income consumers who are desperate to look rich. If you look at actual, self-made wealthy individuals, people who own manufacturing plants, real estate portfolios, software companies, or commercial infrastructure, they are often the most unremarkable looking people in the room. They wear plain, high-quality, unbranded clothes that last for years. They do not care about wearing a $5,000 watch because their net worth speaks for itself in their bank statements and peace of mind. They realize that spending $2,000 on a designer handbag doesn't make you wealthy. It simply means you have $2,000 less to invest in income-producing assets. They choose real, structural wealth over the expensive costume of success. Underneath all of these bad purchases lies a deep psychological divide, the trap of instant gratification versus the power of delayed compounding. The modern economy is engineered to exploit your brain's primitive impulse mechanisms. The instant you feel bored, stressed, or inadequate, a targeted ad appears on your screen offering a quick hit of dopamine in exchange for a credit card click. The poor and struggling buy things instantly to feel good today, putting the financial stress onto their future selves. The wealthy operate on a radically different timeline. They practice extreme delayed gratification. They do not use their active work income to buy luxury goods or high-end toys. Instead, they take their work income, purchase cash-flowing assets like rental real estate, dividend stocks, or private businesses, and then wait. They let those assets generate passive returns. And only when the returns themselves are large enough do they use that surplus cash to buy the toys. The rich understand long-term math and total cost of ownership. They audit the small leaks. They cook real food. Use low-cost index funds instead of paying high-commission money managers. Buy durable household goods that last for years rather than disposable plastic items. And cut away subscriptions they don't actively use. They know that a massive reservoir is built by stopping the small leaks first. This brings us to the most predatory trap of all, the illusion of fast money, complex investments, and high-stakes gambling. Every year, millions of working-class people hand over their hard-earned savings to high-fee financial products, payday lenders, speculative crypto tokens, or lottery tickets. The lottery is perhaps the clearest tax ever invented on poor math skills. People who feel trapped by a ticket because they feel a lucky break is their only mathematically possible escape route out of financial anxiety. They are selling their real money for a microscopic, near-impossible dream. Similarly, when new investment trends sweep through social media, ordinary people rush in out of intense fear of missing out. They put money into complex financial products, leveraged trading schemes, or obscure tokens that they cannot explain to a 10-year-old child. When the market swings, they get completely wiped out by insiders who understand the game. The wealthy follow a strict, unyielding rule when it comes to capital allocation: never put money into something you do not fully understand. Rich people don't rely on luck, hot tips, or lottery numbers. They build wealth through boring, predictable, battle-tested strategies. They buy low-cost, broad-market index funds, productive real estate, or established businesses with real revenue and clear profit margins. If a financial pitch sounds overly complex, filled with confusing jargon, or promises explosive overnight returns, the rich run in the opposite direction. They value clarity, simplicity, and risk management over shiny promises. Finally, the ultimate trap that binds everything together is owning a lifestyle that requires maximum income just to survive. This is where middle-class high earners get trapped. A young professional gets a pay raise from $70,000 to $120,000. Instead of keeping their living expenses flat and investing the $50,000 difference, they immediately upgrade their life. They buy a bigger house with a massive mortgage, lease 2 luxury SUVs, join an expensive country club, and enroll in high-cost private services. Suddenly, despite earning a fantastic income, their fixed monthly expenses equal their exact take-home pay. They are locked into a high-stress lifestyle trap. They cannot afford to take a month off. They cannot pivot to a new career. They cannot start a business. And they cannot speak up against a toxic boss because a single missed paycheck would cause the entire house of cards to collapse. They are well-paid slaves to their own possessions. The genuinely wealthy prioritize optionality over display. They deliberately live below their means so their fixed operational costs remain low. By keeping their baseline expenses low, their money buys them the ultimate luxury item that no designer brand can ever sell you: total freedom. Real wealth is not about having a garage full of depreciating cars or a closet full of designer logos to show off to your neighbors. Real wealth is the ability to wake up on a Tuesday morning, look at your calendar, and realize that you own your time. It is the peace of mind that comes from knowing that if an emergency strikes, or if you decide to walk away from a bad job, your family is completely safe because your assets generate more income than your lifestyle requires. Every single dollar that enters your hands represents a choice. You can send that dollar away to buy a depreciating piece of plastic that makes you look rich today. Or you can assign the dollar to go to work for you, compounding quietly in the background, so you can actually be free tomorrow. Stop buying the traps, stop paying interest on the past, cut the leaks, hold on to your capital, buy productive assets, and take control of your life once and for all.